In the mighty Pacific Ocean, evolution runs wild. Below the waves and above. On thousands of islands, animals have had to adapt to new ways of life, or die trying. Natural selection created island giants and freaks of nature. Some of the world's wildest creatures survive nowhere else on Earth, saved from the ravages of extinction on their islands of life. They are wonders of the ocean. The mighty Pacific, the biggest and deepest ocean on Earth, covering a third of our planet. Scattered across this vast expanse of water are islands, over 20,000 of them. Most of them below the equator in the South Pacific. Islands are like ecological laboratories. They can drive evolution in strange and extreme directions, or provide refuge for animals not fit enough to survive on the mainland. In the Western Pacific, Indonesia is a nation of many islands. Komodo is one of the smallest. But it's world famous for its dragons. Up to 3 meters long, the Komodo dragon is the largest lizard in the world. Low slung and massively built, and covered in tough armored scales. Sharp claws tip powerful legs. They're the dominant predator on the island, eating almost anything they can get their teeth into. Like snakes, they use their tongue to taste the air and detect the scent and direction of prey. And like some snakes, the Komodo has venom glands in its jaws. Injured, the buffalo seeks relief, and infection from the dirty water take their toll. The dragon's sharp teeth tear off chunks of flesh. The gluttonous monsters can eat up to 80% of their body weight in a single meal. Although Komodo is their best-known home, they also live on a handful of nearby islands. Dragons are capable swimmers, known to cross nearly half a kilometer of sea. Komodo dragons have evolved a clever trick that could potentially help them colonize new lands. When males are present, a receptive female reproduces sexually. But if there is no other way, she can reproduce by herself. In the absence of male dragons, her biology can change, allowing unfertilized eggs to develop and hatch into healthy baby dragons. This process, called parthenogenesis, meaning virgin birth, is very unusual in reptiles. If a solo female reaches a new home, she could establish a new population. But there is one last twist in the tale of Indonesia's dragons. Until recently, scientists considered them a classic example of island gigantism. They thought a smaller ancestor swam to Komodo. With no competitors on its island home, it would have evolved to become a giant. But a close analysis of the fossil record revealed a very different story of refuges that saved these remarkable predators from extinction. Giants aren't always the size of dragons. One of the Pacific's wildest survival stories involves one of its smallest giants. Lord Howe Island is the remnant of an ancient sea volcano, 570 kilometers off the coast of Australia. The island is so isolated that humans didn't find it until 1788. Snakes and rodents never did. The lack of predators allowed the few creatures that found their way here to evolve in spectacular ways. One became a classic island giant. The Lord Howe Island stick insect. One of the largest insects on the planet, growing up to 15 centimeters long and weighing as much as a fully grown mouse. Human settlers called them tree lobsters. But in 1918, rats made it to the island after a shipwreck and quickly wiped out the stick insects. As far as anyone knew, they were extinct. That is until 2001, when two scientists climbed Ball's Pyramid. 23 kilometers from Lord Howe, this fang of bare rock rises 550 meters straight out of the Pacific. Ball's Pyramid is all that remains of an ancient volcano worn away by the sea. On a few hardy bushes growing from the sheer rock, the scientists discovered a miracle. A small group of giant stick insects. Nobody knows just how these insects found their way to this tiny island refuge. Perhaps one of the many seabirds that nest on Ball's Pyramid carried their eggs over on a stick. Or maybe a lucky stick insect hitched a ride over on vegetation. Like Komodo dragons, female tree lobsters are capable of parthenogenesis, which would have improved their chances of survival. From those precious few, scientists have bred thousands of tree lobsters in captivity. This unique Pacific Island giant is back from the brink. And planning is afoot to rid Lord Howe of rats and make it a safe haven once again. Some of the South Pacific's most beautiful islands are palm-fringed coral atolls. These islands are the work of billions of tiny animals called polyps. Generally nocturnal, what we see by day are just the calcium skeletons they build around themselves. Together, they form massive coral reefs, which over the eons rise above the water, forming a low-lying island. The palms arrived soon after, in the form of one of the most extraordinary seeds on the planet, the coconut. Surrounded by a buoyant, waterproof shield, it can survive for over 100 days at sea. When it finally washes up on land, the coconut provides food for the young palm embryo. Unless it's taken by a robber. The robber, or coconut crab, is a 4-kilo nightmare, the largest arthropod to roam the land. Found on islands all over the South Pacific, the coconut crab is the world's largest hermit crab. Large and tough, the adults have no need to hide in borrowed shells. They may be a genuine example of island gigantism. Adults, tinged a distinctive hue of blue, can grow up to 1 meter from leg tip to leg tip. This female carries her developing larvae in eggs attached to her abdomen. When they're ready to hatch, she'll release them into the tide to find new islands to colonize. In the Pacific, wherever there are coconuts, there are coconut crabs. Largely nocturnal, these antisocial giants prefer to eat alone after the sun goes down. Another crab emerges from hiding. Her incredible sense of smell guides her through the undergrowth. Hunting with powerful claws that can exert twice as much force as a tiger's jaws. She'll use them to dismember whatever carrion, fruit, or smaller crabs she finds. And of course, her beloved coconuts. The Galapagos are not your typical Pacific paradise. A cluster of volcanic islands just below the equator, 1,000 kilometers west of Ecuador. Some are so young, they're still smoking. As each rose out of the ocean, it became a bare slate for life. Marine animals were among the first to exploit the islands, which lie in food-rich currents. But above the waves, only a few species managed to find these barren islands. the prickly pear. Over on Santa Cruz, are common in the South Pacific. The Great Pacific Ring of Fire is home to most of the world's earthquakes and 3/4 of its active volcanoes. But living on them is a dangerous strategy. This gannet colony could be wiped out at any moment. But so far, the rewards have justified the risk. Geology is at its wildest in the Pacific. Even today, new Pacific islands are born before our eyes. White Island is an active volcano off the coast of northern New Zealand. A baby by volcano standards. It's just 150,000 years old. This crater complex dates to eruptions in the 1970s. A hot, acid lake bubbles inside. Everything here is hostile to life. And yet, in a stream that crosses the crater floor, microbial extremophiles survive in this hellish environment. While beyond the crater walls, a small forest of stunted trees is starting to replace one that was destroyed more than 3 decades ago. Life here is strictly for the birds. These Australasian gannets have established their colony on rocks close to the island's edge. Largely solitary while at sea, pairs usually reunite year after year to raise a single chick. But it's risky. Toxic gas or a new eruption could wipe out the entire colony at any time. Why do it? No predators. And close by, a bounty of food. Gannets are nature's dive bombers. Wings tucked back, they plunge like arrows into the water. Reaching speeds of 145 kilometers per hour, the lenses in their eyes change shape as they enter the water, allowing them to see and chase fish to depths of 23 meters. White Island sits on the edge of trenches that bring deep sea fish right to its flanks. This is why gannets breed and raise their young here. But they're not alone. Common dolphins join the hunt. They herd the fish from below, driving them to the surface in ever tighter balls. Right into the gannet's aerial assault. "500 kilometers south of New Zealand, much more ancient volcanoes also perch on the edge of a continental shelf. These southern right whales spend most of the year feeding in deep subantarctic waters. But when it's time to give birth and raise young, the mother whales head for the sheltered bays around the Auckland Islands. Here they socialize and nurture their babies until they're big enough to handle the open ocean. Other marine mammals also make use of this convenient resting place, so close to rich feeding grounds. These are Hooker's sea lions, the world's rarest. They come to the beach with one thing in mind. The males arrive first. They're here to breed and spar to establish dominance, while the young ones practice for when their turn comes. When the first females arrive, the big males erupt into a possessive frenzy of fighting. But they all have to yield to 450 kilograms of testosterone and bad attitude. He claims her for his harem, which he'll defend to the death. Possibly hers. But she's not ready to breed yet. First, the females must give birth to pups conceived last season. They'll suckle their pups for a whole year, making frequent hunting trips to produce their rich milk. Around a week after giving birth, the females are ready to mate. Now the big males have to defend their harems from intruders. As the mating season heats up, the big bull sea lions are constantly tested. The aim of the game is to impregnate as many females as you can. But while the beach masters are preoccupied with each other, one of the younger males does his bit for the genetic diversity of the species. The sea lion's island home is a tiny remnant of a vast, lost continent. Called Zealandia, most of it sank below the waves before mammals ruled the world. Around the size of India, 94% of it is below the South Pacific's waves. It stretches from south of the Auckland Islands, past Lord Howe, and as far north as New Caledonia. New Caledonia boasts the planet's largest lagoon. Over 15,000 square kilometers of protected marine reserve. home to a thriving diversity of life. But looks can be deceiving. Though it wears a coral skirt, this is no atoll. It's on land that New Caledonia's ancient origins become apparent. There are 3,000 species of plants, almost 80% of which grow nowhere else on Earth. The majestic Araucaria grows with a pronounced lean towards the equator, which maximizes its exposure to the sun. These Jurassic conifers date back to a time when all the southern continents were joined in one supercontinent. Now they survive in the wild, only on this tropical life raft. But plant life in New Caledonia faces some special challenges. The soils have toxic concentrations of metals like nickel, cobalt, and chromium, but are low in essential plant nutrients like phosphorus. It's taken the island's endemic plants millions of years to adapt to these conditions. But one group has taken it to extremes, actively hunting out the missing nutrients from animal flesh. The pitcher plant is a carnivore, and to catch its insect prey, it's evolved some of the most remarkably specialized leaves on Earth. Beginning from a tiny tendril at the end of a leaf, an alien-looking pod develops. It gradually inflates with air and then pops open a lid. It's now a highly efficient death trap. Sweet nectar lures its prey to the opening. But the rim of the pitcher is slippery. Prey falls in and drowns. It's time for the plant to feed. Special glands secrete enzymes that digest the meal, extracting vital nutrients like phosphorus and nitrogen. Unlike the pitcher, this plant doesn't passively wait for an insect to enter its clutches. This is a sundew. Thin hair-like tentacles cover the leaf, each with a globule of sticky liquid at its tip. Many insects find the sweet liquid irresistible. Anything that comes for a free meal is soon stuck. The more it struggles, the more sticky droplets grab hold. And the sundew won't let go. The sticky liquid blocks the tiny breathing holes in its prey's exoskeleton. It dies in about 15 minutes. Other specialized glands on the sundew's tentacles secrete digestive enzymes that begin to dissolve its prey from the inside. When the plant has extracted all the nutrients it can, there will be nothing left but an empty husk. By far the largest parts of Zealandia that are still dry land are the islands of New Zealand. On its coast, a smaller relative of the sea lion is raising its young. New Zealand has vast tracts of lush rainforest, which give way to high mountains and glaciers. Many unique animals have evolved here since it separated from the rest of the world 85 million years ago. New Zealand's most ancient resident is the tuatara. 250 million years ago, these primitive reptiles coexisted with dinosaurs all over the world. The tuatara is the last of its kind, clinging to life on these isolated Pacific islands. Cold-blooded and very, very slow. In a wild Pacific paradox, the 1 kilo tuatara nevertheless became the apex predator on land. With only tiny bats and the glacial tuatara for competition, the bird life of New Zealand began to evolve in bizarre ways. The kaka is a large species of parrot that lives in New Zealand's lowland forests. They are loud and playful as they feed on fruit in the canopy. So far, so ordinary. But 15 million years ago, tectonic forces thrust a great mountain range thousands of meters into the air. As these southern Alps rose, one group of forest-dwelling parrots adapted to the alpine realm. The kea, the world's only truly alpine parrot. In scientific studies, the highly inquisitive keas are some of the best puzzle solvers in the animal kingdom. The clever parrots have had to change their behavior and diet compared to their forest-living ancestors. There is far less food in the mountains, so they have to make the most of any opportunity, and that takes intelligence. They have learned to feed on over 200 different plants. And animals. In this harsh mountain world, the kea can't afford to ignore any source of calories. This male and female are flirting. The male grabs her beak as they play fight to establish a mating bond. Curious juveniles watch and learn. They have yellow rings around their eyes and beaks, which will disappear when they become adults. But the kea is not the only bird to evolve in strange ways on these isolated South Pacific islands. Only 3% of birds are nocturnal. Useless now, but his ancestors flew to New Zealand perhaps 50 million years ago. With no ground-based predators, cat-like Recently, scientists discovered that up to a third of wild kiwis have impaired vision. Some birds were completely blind, but otherwise healthy, so that may last for life. Raising a young kiwi takes complete commitment from both parents. female kiwi is about the size of a chicken, but her egg is almost as big as an emu's. It's so big that she can't eat for days before she lays it. While she recovers, it will set off to hunt in the undergrowth for itself.